All right, guys, welcome to the first part of the foldable video. So today we are only, or in this video, we are only going to be focusing on tabs 2 and 3. So this is for level 1 star. So we're only going to be looking at sections 2 and 3 of the foldable. If you need 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, then you need to go watch a different video. So, a couple of things to remember first. Simplify each side of the equation first. So the left and the right side. We're going to be using inverse operations to solve, or we're going to be undoing addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division by doing backwards PEMDAS or reverse PEMDAS. We're going to check that we answered the question. So we're going to make sure we're solving for the correct thing. And we need to make sure that we always simplify our fractions. So let's take a look at two-step equation. So you should have it open to section or tab number 2. I'm not going to do all of these with you. I'll do a couple and then you do a couple. So I'm going to start with example number 1. I need to find y equals. So I am solving for y. So that's what I want to get by itself. Well, in order to be able to get y by itself, I need to get rid of this 5 on the left. And I need to do the opposite or backwards. Opposite of -5 or -5 is +5. So if you draw your line down the equal sign to split the problem, if we add 5 on the left, we add 5 on the right. -5 plus 5 cancels out. I bring down my y. -14 plus 5 is -9. I was solving for y. I get y equals -9, so that is my answer. I'm going to do example 3 because example 2 is similar to example 1. So you'll try 2 and 4. I'll do 1 and 3. So moving on to number 3. I am solving for y. So I want to get y by itself. So I need to get y completely by itself on the left. Well, if I draw my line down the equal sign on the left side, I have this -5a. So I need to move this over by doing the inverse or the opposite of -5a or -5a. Well, the opposite is plus or a positive. So I add 5a on both sides. Those cancel out. I get y equals. These cannot be combined because they are not like terms. -14 is missing the a. These are not like terms, so I cannot actually combine them. The only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write the 5a first and then -14 because it was -14. And that's what I was trying to get by itself. I wanted to find what y equals. Well, y equals 5a minus 14. So you can try 2 and 4 by yourself. Your teacher should have a key that you can look at to make sure that you got the answer correct. So now we're moving on to section 3. We're going to be looking at two-step equations with fractions. So again, I'll do a couple and you do a couple. This time, I'll do 1 and 3 as well. So starting with number 1. So this one is a little different because now we have fractions. So I'm going to draw my line down the equal sign. And remember, we are doing backwards PEMDAS. Okay? So normally you start with parentheses first. Well, this time I'm going to start with subtraction or addition first. Well, I see, and I'm solving for n. So this is what I'm trying to get completely by itself. All by itself. So I need to get rid of this first. Well, what's the opposite of +7? -7. What you do to one side, you must do to the other. So on the left, +7 -7 cancels out. And then on the right side, 31 minus 7 is 24. Well, I still have all of this, so I'm just going to bring it down. So 24 is on the right, and on the left, I still have 8n over 3. Well, my goal is to get n by itself, so I need to get rid of this 3 first. A fraction is division. Well, what is the opposite of division? Multiplication. There's nothing else I can add or subtract. So then I move on to multiplication and division, or division and multiplication. The opposite of divided by 3 is times 3, right? If I have a number in front of parentheses, it means to multiply. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 3. That's how I'm able to cancel out that 3 in the denominator. So now all I have is 8n equals, well, what is 24 times 3? 72. And you should know what to do from here. If I want to get n by itself and it's next to 8, those are being multiplied. Well, the opposite of multiplication is division. And I divide by the number that I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of that 8 to get n by itself. And 72 divided by 8 is 9. Did I solve the question? Yes, I needed to find what n equals. N equals 9. Okay, so now number 3. Same process, a little more difficult because this time we have 2 variables. I'm solving for n again. Okay, so it's going to be the same steps, almost the same as example 1, but the problem itself is slightly different. So we start with subtraction or addition. Is there anything that I can add or subtract? I always start on the side that has the variable because that's what I want to get by itself. Well, I see plus 16p. Well, the opposite, or the inverse, is minus 16p. That cancels out on the left. I still have 8n over 3 on the right, or sorry, on the left. And on the right, I can't combine these. I can't actually subtract 16p from 24 because they are not like terms. So this does not have the same variable as this. This is just a number, and this is a number and a variable. So all I'm going to do is write the part that has the variable first. So negative 16p plus 24 because this 24 is positive. Okay. Now, same thing. I want to get rid of that 3. Well, this is 8n divided by 3. Well, the opposite of division is multiplication. So I am going to multiply both sides by 3. That's how that 3 cancels out. I'm left with 8n on the left. Now I have to distribute this 3 to negative 16 and 24 because I am multiplying it and I have to distribute to everything inside. So this is where you may need your calculator. 3 times negative 16 is negative 48, but I can't forget the variable. So negative 48p. And then 3 times 24 is 72. So plus 72. I just took both of these numbers and I multiplied them by 3. Well, my goal is to get n completely by itself. So I need to get rid of that 8. So I'm going to divide every part of my equation by 8. 8 divided by 8 cancels out. So I get n by itself. Here, the only thing I can really do is divide those numbers. So I'm going to do negative 48 divided by 8. And that's going to give me negative 6. But I can't forget the p. So that p just goes next to the negative 6. And then I'm going to do 72 divided by 8. And that's 9. So that was a positive 72. So a positive 72 divided by 8 is a positive 9. Did we answer the question? Yes, because we were solving for n. So my answer is n equals negative 6p plus 9. Now go try the other ones that I didn't do for you and check using the key in your classroom.